welcome back to the Brush by Brandy YouTube channel. This week we are working on a special project, and this is part of a bedroom set that I've been working on. You guys have seen a couple pieces already, so we're going to continue with that, and I'm just about through with this. I'm excited to finally be able to show you guys what the end result is. It's a really cute nursery set. So this is for a long-term customer of mine who is expecting a beautiful baby, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I was super honored to be asked to do this set. So this piece that we're working on this week is actually the matching bookcase, and this is kind of a cute piece. I'm going to show you how I handle bookcases. We're going to take the back off of this one and add a bunch of fun decorations to it. It comes together really cute. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. We've got a really soft blend on this one, some florals. Of course, this is in the same bee theme. You can find the other videos for this set also up now on my YouTube channel, but let's get started on this bookcase. Here's where I started on this bookcase. It had a dark wood finish and a green on the interior, but overall it was really well made. This is the inspiration we're using for the paint finish. This room is being done in shades of gray and white to match the flooring that's in the customer's home, and also this crib that she chose for the bedroom. The three colors I chose to use for this finish are from Wise Owl Paint, and I chose Snow Owl, which is a nice creamy white, Smoky Quartz, which is a soft gray, and then Weathervane, which is a darker gray. I started out by removing the back from this bookcase, and that's because I'm going to be working on that later and separately. It made it much easier to navigate around the bookcase, and the back is just held on by a few screws. This is something that I usually do if I'm working on china hutches, bookcases, anything like that that has a removable back. If it makes it easier, take that back off. To prep this piece for paint, I started out by giving it a really good cleaning and a scuff sanding, and then of course it got a coat of Wise Owl primer in white. The primer that I used underneath the paint on this one just helped to take that dark wood to a white finish. It's going to save me on paint later. I also love how paint lays over a coat of primer. It's also going to help my paint adhere to the surface. So in this case, it served a bunch of purposes to go ahead and put that primer underneath my paint. And then we are doing a blended paint finish on this one. So I'm blending two of my colors. I'm just going to use the Smoky Quartz and the Snow Owl up on the top. The Weathervane is only going to make an appearance on this piece down at the bottom by the legs. So for the most part, this is just going to be a basic two-color blend. So I started out by getting my colors onto the surface, and now that I've got them on there, I'm going to use my Klingon brushes to work these two colors together. When I'm working paint colors together for a soft, smooth blend, I want to create a nice wide overlap. So these overlap as much as possible so there's a nice smooth transition in between the colors. I use brush strokes that go every which direction. I use a mister bottle that just has white water in it, and this is going to help elongate my paint, keep it active and fresh so I can continue to work with it until I'm done. I of course like my Klingon brushes. These are synthetic bristle brushes. They're nice and soft and great for blending. This piece did require that I do blends up the side, and then I also need to do them on the inside. I removed the shelves from the bookcase. It does have adjustable shelves, but it did have one shelf that stayed in place, so that I had to work around. Right now I'm working around the back side of that bookcase, so you can see already how much easier it made it to take that back off. I was able to reach this, and I could turn the bookcase any which direction and get into the small angles that I needed to. I'm basically repeating the same process that you saw me do in my first coat on the side, and I'm going to do that in my second coat as well. You can notice that when I add this second coat over the top, my colors start to get even more rich and saturated. That's why I like to do two colors blended versus just doing like a solid base color of white and then putting that gray and white blend over the top. Doing two coats blended gives me the richness of both colors. I lay my paint colors on using that synthetic bristle brush, the Klingon S50 in this case. I'm using a little bit of water to keep that paint fresh and moving, and then I come back as my last step and I'm going to use a dry neutral brush just to work those colors together. Anytime my brush starts to get muddy, I will lay it off onto my apron and I'll continue to work those together. Now with the frame of my bookcase done, it's time to come back and pay some attention to the back side of this bookcase. You can see it does have a beadboard detail, and then you can see that original green around the edge of the frame. That's the color that this started out. I had originally thought maybe I wanted to blend this back side of this bookcase in two sections for the top and the bottom of the bookcase, but I decided to scrap that and go ahead and blend it in one nice long even linear section. So I'm going to do that by laying on a coat of my Wise Owl Snow Owl on the full body of this back, and then I'm going to lay on some of that Smoky Quartz around the edges, and then I'm going to blend those two together. Now the back side of this bookcase is a long, open, empty space, and this is kind of like when you blend the top of a dresser, which are more challenging spaces. You've got to work quickly. You've got to use a lot of that water to keep your paint in motion, and so I'm going to be doing that here. I did have to brush my paint in a couple different directions, and that's because I needed to work it into that beadboard detail. So I used brush strokes going horizontal and vertical, and then a little bit of that water to make it find the low points in that beadboard. I also kind of split this back into two working sections. So I worked one side at a time, and then I'm going to unify them in the middle to create a nice, smooth, even blend. But that was one way that I worked around this being such a large open surface. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that smoky quartz, that gray color on. And the other thing I did to make this large surface a little bit more workable is for my dry neutral brush, I used the Klingon B12, and this is a big block brush, but it makes quick work of blending, especially when you need to do it on these big surfaces. I highly recommend this as a tool. It was a great blending brush, and it was definitely a lifesaver on some of these large surfaces. So I picture this as being something that would be good on dresser tops, sides of bookcases, again, china hutches, and the back side of this bookcase was perfect. You can see the size of this brush, and I'm able to just work those colors together by brushing over the top of them. If you do a lot of blending and you like to blend large surfaces like this, definitely check out that B12 brush from Klingon. My next step is I'm going to go ahead and add my transfer to the back side of this bookcase. I started out by finding the center of my transfer, and then I'm going to work it slowly. Remember, I have to work this transfer into the details of that beadboard as well. And so I'm going to work that into the sections using the stick that came in the package with the transfer. You can see I'm sort of creasing it down into the beadboard, and then I'm able to start pulling back on my clear backing sheet. I chose to add this transfer to the back side of the bookcase and then on the sides of it on the outside as well. It was really pretty how it kind of wrapped the bookcase in flowers. This bookcase is part of a bedroom set, so I've already done the dresser pieces that go with this. It also has a baby's changing table and then a growth chart, and these flowers appear on all the pieces. So the flowers were a great way that I could unify this design. Aside from using the same colors, also having the same soft florals on them really tied the pieces together. With my transfer on, it's time to apply some Weisel matte varnish to seal this piece up. I also added some honeycomb shaped designs from polyonlay. These are wood appliques that I painted in the weathervane to match the body of my piece. This piece came out really cute. It matches my bedroom set beautifully, all unified by the same floral and the same color designs. This nursery is so serene. As always, you can find links for everything I use in the description for this video. You can find more Brush by Brandy on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, and on my website at brushbybrandy.com. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll click that subscribe button for weekly painting tutorials here at Brush by Brandy on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the other tutorials for this set already up and available on my YouTube channel.